Phase 2 begins with The Incredible Hulk 2, which introduces Bruce's cousin Jennifer Walters, who becomes She-Hulk. The leader is the main villain. However, knowing he can't match the Hulk physically, the leader kidnaps General Thunderbolt Ross and turns him into the Red Hulk. The movie ends in a fight between the Hulk and Red Hulk. Red Hulk nearly beats the Hulk, however, Betty Ross shows up to calm down her father. The leader is arrested and taken in by S.H.I.E.L.D. Iron Man 2 would be similar to the actual movie, but it takes place after the Avengers, and because of this, quite a bit would change. All of the setup for the Avengers would be cut, which I think is fine given how much was going on in the movie anyways, but also Hank Pym would be introduced, since Ant-Man won't be getting his own movies in this timeline, and because of that, I think they'll just start with Hank Pym as Ant-Man to simplify things. And the post-credit scene would show Tony and Hank working together on Ultron. 2014 would be the first year with 3 movies, the first being X-Men Dark Phoenix. This time focusing entirely on the Dark Phoenix storyline, as Jean is overtaken by her darker side. The X-Men are joined by Gambit, Beast, Jubilee, and Psylocke. They are also helped by the Brotherhood, as well as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. The X-Men in this movie get more colorful costumes to reflect them becoming more public heroes. Jean doesn't die, instead the X-Men manage to contain the Dark Phoenix inside her. Captain America the Winter Soldier would be basically the same, except Black Widow is introduced here, as she was not in Iron Man 2 in this universe, and also Hawkeye is introduced and appears alongside her. Everything else can basically be the exact same. After a lot of sequels to previous movies, Marvel would finally get around to the Fantastic Four, which would be a better version of the 2015 movie, with the same cast and general ideas, but much better, spending less time on the origin story, which would be contained in the first act, with the dimension they get their powers from being the negative zone in this version. Afterwards, the rest of the movie focuses on them adapting their powers while facing off against Doctor Doom. Doom won't return in this saga, but he will have a major role in the next saga. Avengers Age of Ultron would be similar to the actual movie, but with several changes to fit this universe. Black Widow, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and the Wasp all join the Avengers here. Hank Pym and Tony Stark create Ultron rather than Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver do not start out as villains, as they are already members of the Avengers, and Spider-Man is a member of the team instead of Thor. And the Hulk still flies to space in a Quinjet, but this time he takes the Tesseract with him. Also, Quicksilver doesn't die. In the end, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver are among the members who leave the team, leaving the new Avengers as Captain America, Black Widow, Ant-Man the Wasp, Vision, War Machine, Falcon, and She-Hulk. Sort of taking the place of Ant-Man and coming in late in this universe is Thor, which would release 4 years after the actual movie, but follow generally the same plot with a few differences. Loki doesn't have the Mind Stone, as is currently in Vision, and also the movie takes place after Age of Ultron. Hawkeye is retired at this point, so his cameo is replaced by Falcon, and the Bifrost is not destroyed. The movie ends with Thor choosing to stay on Earth and being recruited into the Avengers. The Amazing Spider-Man 4 has Peter being affected by the symbiote while battling Harry Osborn, seeking revenge for his father's death as the New Goblin, and Sandman, who has the same story he did in Spider-Man 3, except Sandman is also joined by his niece, the Black Cat, who goes on to become Spider-Man's new love interest. After seemingly killing Sandman, Spider-Man goes to the Fantastic Four to get the symbiote removed, and quickly becomes friends with Johnny Storm. Reed Richards discovers the symbiote is an alien life form, and finds a way to remove it from Peter. The symbiote then attaches itself to Harry Osborn, who becomes Venom. Black Cat joins Spider-Man and Human Torch against Venom and Sandman. Johnny uses the symbiote's weakness to fire to separate it from Harry. However, part of it escapes, and Sandman also disappears.